So we're gonna dive deep. We're gonna dive deep. Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I know it's been like forever, and this time, trust me, I'm not making any promises in terms of how often I'll be dropping videos, but I will try my level best to drop videos as often as possible. And so I got my notes down here, so anytime I kind of like start looking down and all of that, it'll be like videos too disruptive because I'm taking notes. Today's video is going to be about questions to ask your host families during the interview phase while trying to be an au pair. So excuse my voice, I'm a little blocked, so I hope I don't sound funny. Usually I would like to say depending, so this goes both for like when you're interviewing from South Africa or any other part of the world to whatever country you're going to, or when you are already within the US and you're like into a rematch or whatever whatever is happening, whatever's going on that results to you needing to find a family. So initially I would say 3 interviews are essential, but then you can stretch it out as long as you want, and as you know, just trying to get to know the family better. And remember, this is not like the required way to do it, but this is how I did it and it worked for me. And it's just also taking notes because I'm with my second family, so it's just like also notes that I noted down that I should have asked, or I should have noted, or something that I agreed to and later regretted it. I would like to stretch it out to 3 interviews, right? So there's going to be the first interview, the second interview, the third interview. The first interview is when the family reaches out to you and expresses their interest in having you as their au pair, but of course they need to get to know you first. Tip number 1, always write down your questions so you don't forget, because it might happen that you forget the important questions to ask. So always read the family's intro letter and then make notes from that. That's what I did, because every family had different questions based on their intro. Because I can't be like, how many kids you have, when they already stated in their video that they have 3 kids. You know, make the interview based on the family, like get to know the family. Let it not be about you as an individual, like, oh my god, what am I gonna benefit, how much is the salary, da, da, da. Don't make it about you. Some of the questions that you might ask is, how many kids do they have? You know, questions build up while you guys are having a conversation. So when you're writing down the questions, it's just to, you know, for you to remember. It's like taking down notes, you know. It doesn't necessarily mean that the conversation or the interview has to go per the questions. And I like to think of it of a get to know each other meeting instead of an interview, because an interview sounds intimidating and you just want to present yourself as best as you could. And in all honesty, you just have to be yourself, because you'll be living with this family. As much as it's professional, it's also casual. So second question is, ask them to describe their kid's personality. Bear in mind that there's no family that would ever say, oh, my kid is problematic, or my kid doesn't listen. Obviously that comes with having kids. You know, kids, they will reach that stage where they're a little bit rebellious and will test you to see if they can get away with things. So you always have to put that at the back of your mind. Ask them to describe their personality in terms of, are they outgoing? Are they shy? Is it gonna take time for me to bond with them? Have they had a previous nanny before? And what was their experience based on their personality? And that also gives you an idea of how you work around the schedule and all of that. Because someone who's introverted, you have to spend most of your time trying to crack them out of your shell, compared to someone who's out there. Preferably write their names down and their ages so you don't forget when you do a second interview, because it can be overwhelming, especially if you're having interviews with all the other families again. Okay, depending on what you want and what's your reason for au pairing. So I know a lot of people come here to au pair because maybe they want to be in a family setting, maybe they want to travel and all of that. So depending on your reason for au pairing, personally I was au pairing based on personal issues, and one of them was I just wanted to be in a family setting. So one of the biggest questions I asked most families that I was talking to was, do they have family time? Are they inclusive of that and all of that? I didn't really care for traveling, but then I felt like I can plan my own travels once I'm settled in and all of that. But then I just want to be in a family environment. The other question is, what do they do to make their au pair feel included? Like, as someone who's coming in from abroad, what would they do? Do they have a previous au pair? And if so, what did they do with the previous au pair that made the au pair feel included? So that's very much important, especially if you just want to know, like, if you want to feel part of the family. You can ask the host families profession. That way it will give you an idea about your schedule, whether it will be busy or not. Do they work from home? Yeah, I think that's important too, because you just want to know, you just want to have an idea of how your schedule will be like. And if one parent works from home, that's okay, that's best, because if you need help, especially if you're new and you're trying to settle in, one parent is at home to help you out, although they will be working, but then in emergency cases they're there to help you. And then we're on to interview number 2. You can ask about your duties as an au pair, what is expected of you. You can ask about your au pair schedule, like, are you gonna have a split schedule? Are you gonna have a straight schedule? Do they write down the schedule for you? Is there a certain schedule that you need to follow, or they give you the freedom to create your own schedule? I think that is so important. Also, I just think it's important to know about your schedule, because sometimes other au pairs can have like a crazy schedule where they don't have time to themselves. Like, you need to know if you're working on the weekends or not and stuff like that. And if you're open to working on the weekends, well, kudos to you. If not, you can also communicate that. But then technically, according to the agency rules and program rules, you are supposed to get a free weekend off like once a month, so that shouldn't be a problem. Ask about your day offs also, to just make sure that you're comfortable with your day offs. And also remember, as an au pair, you need to be like a little flexible. Yeah, sometimes it won't be stayed on, you need to be a little flexible, but also the family has to be considerate and just try and communicate in time if possible. And then the other question is, what are they offering? So some other families do offer certain benefits, like a gym membership. You can get a gym membership. You can, what are they offering? Because you already know what you're offering. And guys, also know what you offering. Don't think it's vacation time yet. You're working. You're not on vacation. But you will get your vacation time, of course. Honestly, interview number 2, never ask about salary. Personally, that's what I did. I never asked about salary. I literally asked about salary on my last one, like my last interview, like the 3rd interview, before I got to decide which family I liked the best. I didn't want to base off my search based on money, but I wanted to base it off connecting with the family. So you can ask about the bedroom situation. You can ask to see pictures or a tour, like a house tour, preferably a house tour in a 3rd interview, but you can just like ask about the bedroom, and stuff like that. Are you gonna have privacy? Is it gonna be in the basement? If it's on top, is it next to the kids' room and all of that? That gives you just an idea, because if it's next to the kids' room, you're very limited, especially if you're someone who likes to listen to music just like I do. You're very limited in terms of just bursting out your music and just listening to music on a Sunday morning, because the kid might be sleeping in the other room and you might be disturbing. And do they celebrate holidays? This is where you get to ask about house rules, guys. House rules is so essential. You need to know what you're getting yourself into. You need to ask about curfew. Are they going to give you a house key? If you are provided with a car, ask if you can have sleepovers with the car. Is there a curfew for a car? Because they can have a curfew for the car and then have a different curfew for you as a person. So you can also ask about that. That's very important. And you're living under their roof, so remember, you need to obey their rules. So you don't want to come here and be shocked about certain rules that you did not know about before choosing the family. So, or do they travel and all of that, depending on what you like. If you like to travel and you came here because you want to explore the US and travel more and do all of that, you can ask about that. Basically, I didn't care for that. I still believe that I can plan my own vacations. I just need a good family. Sometimes you might have to do a little extra, you know, because you're living with a family and sometimes you can't just ignore certain things. Interview number 3 is where you get to know the family. Get to know each other, basically, like on a personal level. Now you know, you showed interest, you've done your countdown list, you've chosen families that you think are worth investing in. You've scratched out the families that won't work for you and all of that. So yeah, interview number 3 is when you guys are getting to know each other. So this is where you can ask about your salary, like ask, because the minimum wage is 195.75, I believe. Yeah, I think it's 195.75. But then there are other families that might give you more, you know. Also question that. And so when I do the calculation, it's better just to get the minimum wage and then have the family pay for like your gas when you use the car. And I mean, you cannot request this thing. You can just only ask if they're offering it, and then you get to make a decision based on that. You can ask them, how's the process going for them? Do they find someone appealing and stuff like that? You can just like talk about the whole process, because I remember I spoke to all the families that I went to interview number 3 with about my process. And yeah, I had to let them know that I'll be making my decision very fast, because it was overwhelming. Every day you get new families who text you, so you get new options, and it's just so confusing, and you're just scared that you won't make the right decision and all of that. So it's best to ask about that too, and kind of see where they are in terms of the interview. Do they still want to have another month of interviewing, or are they ready to make their decisions and all of that? It's really good to know, so that you can make sure that your dates, your arrival dates, align. You can also ask to speak to their previous childcare provider or the like previous Aupair, just to have an insight about the family and all of that, if you just want that clarity. So I have this little quote: remember, always where you go, you need to make sure you feel appreciated, you feel valued, and most importantly, you learn a new skill to better yourself. Because if you learn a new skill to better yourself, it makes it better. It makes your childcare services better, you know. It could be a little thing. That's it from me. And then remember, you can always continue the interview or the getting to know each other calls. Preferably always do it on a FaceTime or like a video chat, a Skype, whatever you guys choose. WhatsApp chat, WhatsApp video call, whatever you guys choose works best for you. You can always use that. It's way better than a phone call. It's better when you're seeing them and all of that. Maybe ask to talk to the kids, like maybe just wave at the kids, and just mostly won't want to talk to you back because it's a phone and they're just kids. But then if you're working with teenagers, they probably would. Just so you get an idea, man. And overall, just remember, this is an experiment. After all the interviews and all of that doesn't guarantee you having a good family or having a worst family ever. It's an experiment. My story won't be the same as your story. Another person's story won't be the same as another person's stories. yeah, but then it's best to take precautions. And that's it for me. Toodles.
I be so sick of you niggas, y'all contradicting. I be so bold myself when you come and fuck me. I feel so ordinary, except when you around me. Treat me like corduroy,